Finding trade data. In this video, we'll discuss some powerful tools to visualize and download international trade data. UN Comtrade is a main source, but we're going to start first with a really cool tool to visualize the data, the Atlas of Economic Complexity, developed by Harvard. The Atlas creates visualizations like these. Broadly, on the left side of this tree map is the services sector, and on the right side is the goods sector, broken down further by industry. On the bottom, you can use these little icons to either hide that industry or isolate it to look closer at that segment alone. Adjust the timeline to see changes over time. Over in this Build Visualization box are the control tools. Choose another country. Let's try Japan. You can switch between its exports and imports. Right now, we're viewing Japan's exports by product, but you can also switch to by partner, which shows Japan sends a majority of its exports to other countries in Asia, which makes sense. Here are a few other visualizations too. Over time shows the gross amount exported or imported in different segments, whereas global share shows the percentage share of the world market in each segment that Japan exports. You can see Japan has for a long time held a high but declining percentage of the world market in its vehicle exports. You can also choose to view all these visualizations by product instead of by country. Let's see who else competes with Japan in car exports. Start by typing a word into the box. I saw they used vehicles instead of cars. You can see here that there are lots of really specific codes, like safety glass for vehicles, locks for motor vehicles, but we just want the overall category for now, so use the higher level code for just vehicles in general. Now I can see how various countries, and the continents as well by color coding, all compare to Japan in vehicle exports. Again, there are other options here for GeoMap or trends over time. For any of these visualizations, see the clickable options down in the bottom right corner to download or share the content. Share provides a stable clickable link. Note, though, that the data downloads here basically download what's shown on this page and no more detail than that. So, for example, downloading from this page will give you trends from 1995 to 2018, but only by continent, not by country. Or this tree map visualization will show you every country's vehicle exports, but only for 2018. So if you need more detail, such as multiple countries' vehicle exports for multiple years, you'll want to go to the original source data, here, UN Comtrade, and download it from there. On UN Comtrade, select Get Data. The screen looks a little complicated, but just go through each section one by one. For type and frequency, we'll stick with annual data for goods. For classification, you can use HS codes or SITC codes. HS, or Harmonized System, is the code system for tariffs developed by the US. The SITC, Standard International Trade Classification, is developed by the UN and is not quite as detailed as the HS. I'll go with HS as reported. Under Section 3, let's say I want the last 5 years' worth of data. Reporters means the country that is reporting the trade data. I don't want all countries, I just want to know about the top few exporters, which I remember from the visualization that it seemed to be Germany, US, and Japan. Type those in and select the countries from the pop-up boxes. Partners means the partner country. World will list the export data not broken out by destination countries, whereas all will list the export data broken out by individual destination countries, or you can just select a few partner countries. I want to know total export numbers, not any specific destinations, so I'll leave it on World. For trade flows, you can select whether you're interested in import, export, re-imports, or re-exports. I just want export data. For HS commodity codes, this is what identifies the product you're looking for. Get rid of total and start typing in what we want. Like in the visualization, I may see a ton of entries because these codes can get really specific. I probably want the broadest category for all vehicles, which in this case is 87. Then in Section 4, the first two buttons let you preview the results and make sure we're getting the right information. Get Data is a lot simpler data, just the total amounts of trade value with the criteria we set. Get Data Plus is a lot more detailed, including more information about customs and how this product was transported. You can change the sort order for any of these columns depending on what kind of information you are most interested in. Once we have figured out that this is the data we want, use the correct Download CSV button to download a file that opens in Excel, where you can sort or manipulate it further. If you use any data set in an assignment, make sure you cite it. Here's a generic template for citing data in APA 7th edition. Here's what that citation would look like for the Atlas of Economic Complexity. Often, datasets don't have one single named author, but I found on the About page that the tool is created by the Harvard Growth Lab, so I'll use them as the author. Source can be thought of as who or what organization or database is responsible for publishing the data or the web page. Citing UN Comtrade is a little more complicated because we worked from this data download page, but it doesn't have any useful title that tells your reader what data you retrieved. So in that case, APA 7th edition says to include a description of what data you pulled in square brackets and non-italicized like this, so that the reader can go to the URL and retrieve the same data you did. Pause the video here to make your citations match these templates, or go to this page for more APA 7th edition citation examples. If you'd like to see another powerful tool for accessing and visualizing all sorts of indicators related to a country's economy, view this video on accessing International Monetary Fund data. Don't hesitate to ask the library with any questions. We're happy to help.